Okay, we're here at the New York Times Digital Living Room with Nick Bilton, who is a user interface specialist here in the R&D Lab. So Nick, thanks for being with us for Night Pulse. Tell us a little bit about what you do here.
I work in the R&D group with a small team, Mike Young, Alexis Lloyd, Ted Roden. We prototype a lot of experiences on flexible newspaper displays that may come out in the future. We're building a custom New York Times experience as a prototype where your content follows you between different devices, your mobile phone, your television, your printed newspaper, and we explore a lot of emerging technologies that are coming out in the next couple of years.
And you also teach at NYU. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, my class is called 1-2-10, and it's about designing interaction for the 1-foot mobile phone, 2-foot computer, and 10-foot television experience. And it's really about thinking about storytelling between these devices. And so if you're on your mobile phone, you probably don't want to see a lot of photos or video or something like that. You just want to see, quick, small pieces of content. On your computer, you want to see the regular experience. And then on your television, you want a much more lean back, smaller text, more video, more images.
So tell us what you think about the whole decline in newspapers lately.
Well, I think that there's somewhat of an oversaturation. There has been for a long time. 5 newspapers in one town may not be the right solution, but I think that it's pretty exciting what's happening. It allows us a whole new way of telling stories. If you look at the paper, some of the things that we've added to the paper are SMS and semicodes and things like that that are coming soon, where you can interact with the paper and get a full video experience and things like that. And when you look at that and how it relates, and I have some mock-ups here of these little mobile reefers where you can text in to get content, but it creates a much richer experience. And I think once we figure out how to adapt that a little bit better, it'll be great. As far as competitors that are out there, users contributing to content is really exciting. It helps aggregate content to a whole different level and to a much more niche experience.
So you're going to show us some of these things in the room.
This is a television with some content on there. This is actually a series that we did called Choking on Growth on the Verge of Extinction, and it was about the problems in China with the environment. And this was actually 50,000 words, and the paper was printed over a year. And in the living room, it becomes a fully interactive, immersive experience that you can lean back and sit with. This over here is an example of an experience on the television that you could have where we have these maps that are showing us local content from City Room, which is our news desk downstairs. And it's actually geocoding the content, and it's also pulling in traffic API apps because it knows that it's in the morning and that I'm probably on my commute on the way to work or something like that. So here are some of the headlines. This experience is, we call this a live stream just internally, but it was looking at the idea that you have all these different news experiences that you use now. So before I would come to the Times and look at content, but now I also come to the Times through my aggregation points like Facebook and Twitter and all these different streams. And so what we're doing is we're aggregating all those into one extreme flow, and it's just like this timeline experience. And I can drag them over to the television, and I can do all these different things with them, and I can send them to my phone. And so it's creating this one immersive experience that follows you between these devices. If I drag, this is a tweet that Michael, my colleague out there, sent earlier. If I drag that to the television, it'll play it on the TV. Oops, you turn it down. It plays. So Mark Bittman is one of our food writers at the Times. So this is just a quick clip of a video. But then what also happens is my phone will pull up the recipe. So my phone knows that I'm in the room, and it pulls up the recipe that goes along with that video. So it's back to this 1-2-10 experience, and this contextual advertising in there. A lot of what we've been doing in research lately is looking at advertising models and how we can help explore different avenues for advertising within the company.
And what else do you think we should be paying attention to?
I think a really big thing is sensors. This device right here has tons of different sensors that I can get access to, and it offers a whole different way of storytelling. Simple one is GPS. If I have access to GPS, I can say, tell me all the stories from around here in the past 20 minutes, or tell me all the stories from around here that are related to culture. I can also, if we have access to the the cell tower information, which we do on the phone, and I'm traveling at 60 miles an hour between cell phone towers, we know that I'm probably in a car, and I should get the option to maybe have the article read to me or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it offers a whole different way of telling stories. But the other thing that we talk a lot about, so these are just some basic sensors, some motion sensors, and wireless and range detection and things like that. And if we have access to these sensors and these devices in your television, your phone, your car, all these things, we can help report stories differently too. So if we know that you're not using your cell phone and it's just sitting on your desk, maybe it could turn into a monitor that could detect movement. And in California, if there's an earthquake, the cell phones could update the news stations quicker than anything else could. That's just one simple example.
You're also a hacker when you're not at the New York Times.
So I helped co-found a group called NYT Resistor with Bree Pettis and Zach Hoking and a few folks like that. And it's we all got really excited about using hardware to play and to build things. And we got together and we have a space in Brooklyn, and we meet every once or twice a week, and there's people there all the time that are working. But this is an example of some of the things we do. This is called an Arduino, and it's a little tiny microcontroller. And we use this. It's about $30, and it's completely open source, and you can use this to build anything you want. So if I wanted to build an ambient orb that told me what the weather was like or the news results for the stock market or something, I could just put a few LEDs in here, put a little Ethernet shield on there, and write some basic code or download it from the web, and then I have this device that doesn't exist today. If I wanted to put some sensors in my couch, maybe so that I knew how many people were sitting there or how close they were to the television, and I could change the font size based on that, I could easily build that using some stretch sensors and things like that. And so those are some of the things I work on at NYT Resistor. Other folks are building a 3D printable robot that can print out versions of itself, and there's a lot of really exciting things happening there.
Thanks very much, Nick.
My pleasure. Thank you.